The other thing from the combine we have to address is the quarterbacks. And the Browns are not in play for a quarterback at 6. At least we don't believe they are in play for a quarterback at number 6. But some of the guys projected to go in the later rounds of the NFL draft made a statement, made themselves some money based off, once again, the underwear Olympics. A guy like Taylen Green, for example, if you were unfamiliar with him beforehand, he certainly jumped up a ton of boards.
Yeah.
Weighed in at 6'6", 227, ran a 4.37 40-yard dash, set the combine vertical jump record for quarterbacks with a 43.5-inch vertical jump. He broad jumped 11 feet 2 inches. That was also a combine record. Threw the ball pretty well. G, when you looked at the quarterbacks on Saturday, I know they're hard to evaluate, throwing the receivers they haven't played with, yada, 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 yada. Did anyone open your eyes in he might be in play for the Browns with a late day 3 pick just to add into the quarterback competition, or did nobody kind of catch your eye in that sense?
No, well, I do think it's funny because you look at you take a look at what Todd Monken was talking about, and it's funny how many different people, because he was at Georgia and him recruiting people, how many of these guys like Cade Klubnik he knew, or Nussmeier he knew. Carson Beck is a guy.
He played against Taylen Green.
Right, Taylen Green. So these guys, I do think those guys will go. I think those guys will go a lot higher than what you may naturally think based on their tape, because they are names. They are household names that people have been scouting and looking at, and these guys were taking a look at them. And so you go back, and what the scouting department will do is say, all right, we've done our homework on these guys since they were sophomores and juniors, right? And some people are going to come in and say, their junior tape, you go look at their junior tape, it's spectacular. And then you get to the senior year and you're like, oh, there's some things that are a little off. But people are going to go back and reference that junior tape, and somebody will talk themselves and fall in love with the fact that, oh, okay, I like him a little bit. I think guys like Nussmeier, people say, oh, 5th or 6th. I think those guys will get pushed up a little bit. I think you could see him maybe go in the 3rd round. You could see now Aller, I thought he threw the ball. I thought he was a little inconsistent. I think his drop, because of his ankle, he still needs to work on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But just by the size, I think there's going to be some teams that'll take him.
That size is intoxicating. It was coming out of Menor or wherever he played. Medina. People were infatuated with that size.
Yeah. I think Ty Simpson, I think he's pushed himself like in the late, early 2nd, late 1st. Like if
doesn't Simpson have a connection to Monken too?
And
his dad and Monken
their fathers were.
I think teams like say for instance the Steelers. If you're the Steelers, and you Mike McCarthy, you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, and you picking at the end of the draft like that, end of the 1st round. I mean, there's somebody that'll talk themselves into it. I thought he threw the ball pretty well at the combine, and he was a little taller than I thought he would be. And I think he's the clear 2nd quarterback at this point.
It feels that way.
At this point.
I think Ty Simpson's the 1st round pick. Because it's not going to be a 1 quarterback 1st round. So I think somebody's taking him in the 1st. Yeah, almost never.
Somebody gonna make the move. Somebody will do it, especially if you have a little, like I say Mike McCarthy. I mean, it's his 1st year. He got a little house money. You want to come in and try to figure out, see what you're gonna do. They took, what's his name?
Quarterback, Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah, they took Howard. So, they got a couple.
And they
young
really
dudes
never
there.
got a chance to look at him.
Right.
I mean, he was hurt, and then I don't think he played, but maybe a handful of snaps, if that. He wasn't even their backup because when Rodgers went down.
He just didn't. So, and it's a new coach. It's a fresh start. So who knows? We'll see what Mike McGee's the quarterback guy. We'll see what McCarthy likes. But I do think somebody will take Ty Simpson in the 1st round. Taylen Green, I think, is very intriguing. He reminds me of Jalen Milroe a little bit. The Seahawks took him last year. I think somebody may be able to take him and try to do something with. But some Klubnik and Nussmeier and those guys, they'll go higher than you think. I think these guys are going to go 4th round.
I think we have 2 1st-round picks, quarterbacks picked in the 1st round, and I think that's it, right? Does anybody think there could be 3?
No, I don't think.
It'll probably be 2.
Yeah, it feels like 2 to me.
2.
When did Shuck start climbing?
pretty late.
Right around the combine. Senior Bowl.
I thought that was after the combine that he started climbing.
No, there was the interviews because McShay came on like this week last year for us.
Yeah,
and he was the one that was like, "Hey, I had the big, long, hour-long conversation with Shook. He's gonna start flying up draft boards," and then it started to ascend.
I don't know. I think I agree with you. I think Nussmeier and Drew Aller are both going to go way before the 5th round.
Day 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody going take one of those dudes because they're going to say, well, if we had a high grade on him his junior year, then evidently there's some stuff in there that we can move around and try to fix.
There was talk that Aller would be the number 1 overall pick this year.
Right.
There was talk that Aller would have been the pick at 2 last year, and he stayed in the gym.
Yes.
Aller and Nussmeier both were.
Nussmeier too.
Were both.
They had Klubnik going number 1. Like during the year they had like Klubnik going to the Browns number 1, and how far we fall.